banks and financial institutions that use TransUnion to pull your credit. This is part 3 of this series where we are talking about the top financial institutions, banks, and credit unions that are going to be using TransUnion to run your credit. Now, as I specified in the previous videos, you want to make sure that just in case you have frozen Equifax and Experian if you're only doing TransUnion, okay? Just in case you don't want them to look at those other credit reports, they are frozen, and of course we just want to be focusing on TransUnion. Now, the prior videos we went over a couple really good credit unions. Definitely want to watch part 1 and part 2. But let's go ahead and get started into part 3. First and foremost, I want to thank you for watching. If you are new here, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Drop in the comments below and let me know if you are new and if you have found value in today's video in this series. Okay, I also put together a series for Equifax banks, so I'll leave those links below along with Experian. So first on our list for part 3 is BMO Harris. They are really good for personal and business, and they are kind of newer to the scene. So they really have been pushing out their products, been trying to reel more people in with offers, welcome offers. You probably have seen some of their welcome offers for simply just a checking account. Oftentimes you're going to get offers from banks, and you want to take advantage of those offers and make sure that you are able to meet those qualifications for the new welcome offer. And most importantly, collect on it, because I have had issues where I've joined under a welcome offer and then at the end of the term, I didn't get what was promised to me and I had to go back and show them and get it all corrected. I ended up getting it, but you do have to follow up with those things to ensure that you get the bonus or the rewards points or whatever was promised to you as a part of the welcome offer. But BMO Harris has great credit cards. You don't necessarily have to be a account holder with them in order to apply for their credit cards. That really is most applicable to credit unions, where you actually have to be a member in order to qualify for their credit products, like Navy Federal Credit Union, Apple Federal Credit Union. Another reason why I like BMO is because on the business side, they actually provide lending to trucking professionals. Next up, we have BECU. This is a credit union, so you will need to become a member with them, but they are great for personal and for business. They are primarily a TransUnion credit union, and they are a lot easier to join than, say, Navy Federal or Apple Federal. The reason why I like them so much is because there is a lot of opportunity here. If you check out some of their different accounts, not only do they have, your regular checking account, savings account, they have some really good secured credit cards as well to help you start building credit. For those of you that are just kind of starting out and need to add some credit builders, they are great for that as well. In fact, if you are just starting out, I would highly recommend that you use BECU versus like Navy Federal, even because you want to kind of bypass that secured card with Navy Federal to take advantage of, getting straight to like a 20K approval. And of course, if you need help, you can always book a call with me. There is a link below where you can book a one-on-one call with me, or of course, join the credit community where we talk about this kind of stuff and so much more. They also have youth savings accounts here. They have teen checking accounts, which is really great. If you have children, this is a great bank to kind of start getting them set up. Credit cards that specialize in low fees. So they have no annual fees, they have no balance transfer fees, and they have no cash advance fees. Okay, those are a whole lot of fees that people are paying for. You have a 0% interest for 12 months. So that is a benefit. On the business side, they have great business options. Line of credit, they've got term loans, they've got vehicle loans, they've got business credit cards. So you can check out some of the more options and even become a member right online, because I'll tell you what, guys, leveraging relationships with banks is how you can, get funding so that way you can expand your business, you can grow your business, you can have better equipment for your business. So they're definitely a great all-around bank. Definitely check them out. Next up, we have TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Again, another credit union you'll need to join. But inside of the credit kit, I have a list of some of the top credit unions, how to join. Sometimes you can join associations. And again, we talk about a lot of that kind of stuff inside of the school community. In fact, we had a whole call on basically credit unions and, how to join them and, what are some of the associations that you would need to join. And the ACC is one of those. The American Consumer Council, that is going to basically be about $15 per year, or actually it's a one-time fee of $15. But if you use the promo code consumer, you can actually join for free, and they will give you access to basically join a bunch of credit unions by being a member of the American Consumer Council. And you can join for free right there on their website using the promo code consumer, and you'll be able to access a ton of different credit unions. I have a list that was put inside of the credit community of just a ton of different places that you can join with your membership. And some of those places are like, Elon Financial Banks, but some of them are just other credit unions and, financial institutions. So a lot of great information inside of the credit community. So if that's something that you like to learn about, definitely head over and join or comment the word community, and I'll send you the exclusive link. So back to TrueMark Financial. They are great. Personal side, business side, because not every credit union or, financial institution out there is going to have a personal side and the business side, or if they do have a business side, it might not be what you want, right? These credit unions and this credit union has a great personal side. They have pretty much everything that one would need, including the overdraft protection, because it doesn't matter what credit union or bank that you are with, you always want to avoid overdrafts. It can set you back, especially if you're building a relationship with this bank to get credit products. Having just simple one overdraft with them could really set you back, especially in their internal scoring system, like Navy Federal. Now, right now, TrueMark Financial has a welcome offer where you pay 0% interest until 2026 on balance transfers. So again, if you have some debt on some other credit cards that you're paying a high interest on, now is the time to get some of these 0% interest credit cards where you can transfer that balance and be able to pay it off interest free for the next 12 to 18 months, but really put a strict budget together where you can get that paid down. That way you're not having to pay hundreds of dollars of interest per month, and what you pay is getting paid towards the principal balance, actually lowering the amount of debt that you have a lot quicker. Because think about it, like right now, if you have, debt, you might be paying upwards of a few $100s per month in just interest, when you can transfer that to a 0% interest credit card. And a lot of times with these credit unions, if there is a balance transfer fee, it's very reasonable. It goes on the card, and you can even find banks without a balance transfer fee, like BECU. So, but with TrueMark right here, you have 0% APR and balance transfers made by March 31st, 2025 for 12 months. There's no annual fee on the card. Looks like there might be let's see if there is, a balance transfer fee with them. That's the only thing that I would ask about, because a lot of times there is a balance transfer fee. If you are in the process of building credit, I love this credit card for building because it's a great card. This is their Smart Start Rewards Visa credit card, okay? And guess what? It says right here, if life happens, we offer a one-time late payment forgiveness, guys. Okay, not saying that you ever want to be late on your credit cards because you certainly do not, but this is huge because life does happen, right? But it's good to know that you're working with a financial institution that actually understands that and can actually help out if life were to happen, right? And these banks are great because say you get an auto loan from them and you're like, hey, I want to see if I can, skip a couple payments and put this towards the end of my loan. A lot of times they can. It's called deferring payments. So if you do run into hardships, like with an auto loan, you can defer 1 to 2 payments to the end of your loan and not be affected on your credit. So those are some things that you could potentially do if you did face higher times. Hopefully you don't. But again, this is a great option for simply building up credit. And not to mention, let's talk about the business side a little bit as well, because with TrueMark Financial, one of the reasons why I love them, not just because they have personal and business, but I forgot to mention the amount of loans that they have. Okay, guys, they home equity line of credit, home equity loans, mortgage loans, vehicle loans, convenience line of credit, personal loans, student loans. Okay, so they have a tremendous amount of loans that you can get to. Even if you're like building credit, you can get a loan from them because they are relationship based. And if you build up your relationship the right way, you can get a loan, pay it off, get another loan, pay it off. You want to have these, good comparable credit lines on your credit that's shown that you can pay on time and manage these credit lines, right? But back to the business side here, they have a ton of options when it comes to business loans, business credit cards. I like the fact that they pretty much will work with most types of businesses. So sometimes banks can be very selective on the types of industry that they will fund, but TrueMark, they're pretty open to all business types. They have a business line of credit for working capital. They have equipment or term loans. They have business credit cards. They also have owner-occupied commercial mortgages, purchases, or refinances. So that can be big for people that are in real estate. They also offer commercial loans, and they also have the investment real estate mortgage interest-only lines of credit. Ooh, they got a lot going on here. So definitely a good bank to kind of get familiar with and become a member. Next up, we have South State Bank. One of the reasons why I really like South State Bank is because they offer manufactured home financing, and not every bank out there does. They also have personal banking, they have business banking, they have a lot of great business credit cards, personal credit cards, but the reason for my, calling to them, I could say, is the manufactured home loans. So not only do they do new, but they do new and pre-owned manufactured home financing. You can do it in a community, or you can do it on privately owned land. Okay, you can do single section and multi-section, primary residence and vacation/secondary homes. No payment penalties. So that is one of the reasons why I really like South State, and I can see it being, a game changer for a lot of people that want to get a manufactured home. Okay, personal, they have great credit products. Auto loans, good rates, credit cards, good stuff. They've got some credit builder accounts that you guys can check out, especially for those of you that are building credit. Students, credit builder accounts, they've got them. They've got two types of secured cards. One is just a secured card. The other is a secured card that you can actually earn rewards from. Okay. So if you are going to get a secured card, again, get with some of these banks like South State Bank and build up your credit. So that way, when you're ready to actually apply for credit cards, you can go to like Navy Federal, add a couple trade lines and get those big boy limits. You can also go to these banks and get more credit cards, but you know, that's kind of a strategy if you're at a point where you need to get, you know, just credit cards to build up your credit. These are the type of banks you want to do it with, and then you can apply for some of their other cards in the future, but you don't want to waste a secured credit card with a bank like Navy Federal. They have their platinum card here as well for those of you that have a little bit more of an established credit profile, like over 700. And like I said, they are also great for the business side as well. So if you are a small business owner, they have lines of credit, they have anything that is going to be needed for your small business, guys, and also the business credit cards. Now, the thing about South State is you actually have to apply in person. So you have to visit a branch. You could probably do everything inside of your local branch, but you would have to contact a banker. So if you are not near a branch, you can see if they can send you a DocuSign and get everything done via email, but you would need to work directly with a banker to get these banking products approved. That's the downside about South State, is you can't really do a whole lot online. Next up, we have Teachers Federal Credit Union. No, you do not need to be a teacher in order to join. They have a personal side, they have a business side. One of the things that I really like about them is their personal lending options. Now, if you are looking to consolidate some debt, maybe even get like, you know, something that you want to finance, right? Educational loans, they have, you know, solar, they have even secured loans, okay? So if you want to just build credit, they have a lot of different loan options here with Teachers. Now, the secured loans don't require a hard pull, but they do help you build credit, just like the pledge loan with Navy Federal. They, of course, are not the only credit union that offers those type of secured loans, and Teachers is another one that you can really leverage and build up that relationship, like Apple and Navy and a lot of credit unions that offer the pledge loan. You definitely want to invest in the credit union, show them that, hey, I'm investing in you, so that way when I ask for a credit product, you invest in me, right? It goes both ways. But that's why I like Teachers. They really do invest in their members. They do have some high limit credit cards as well. We all like the high limit credit cards, right? So you definitely want to look out, because they have their platinum card here, no annual fees. They also have secured credit cards. So if you are looking to build credit, great place to start off at, and student credit cards as well. On the business side, they have pretty much everything that you would need, including commercial real estate loans, business credit cards, lines of credit, vehicle financing, lots of different options for you guys, no matter if you need it on the personal side or the business side. And on the personal side, I didn't mention they also have vehicle loans as well. So if you are looking to purchase a vehicle, definitely go through a credit union and then take your financing to the dealership. That way you have one credit pull and it's done. Next up, we have Barclays, and Barclays is probably well known. It is definitely one of the bigger banks out there. They have credit cards for a lot of different purposes. So if you are someone that travels a lot, you could really take advantage of some of these Barclays cards. They do have some business cards, but I'm not a huge fan of Barclays business cards because oftentimes they report to the personal credit. Capital One, Barclays, and Discover business products can often report to personal credit. So I would just stick with the personal side. These videos are primarily based on personal, but it's always nice to include a little bit of business. But the travel is great. The entertainment is great. Everyday cash back. I mean, they've got a ton of great cards. Like I said, especially for those of you that like to travel, there is a ton of offers available. Hawaiian Airlines, the Wyndham, the AA Advantage, the Aviator card. That's a real popular one. It does have a $99 annual fee, but if you use it right, you can really take advantage of it. Right now, you can earn 60,000 bonus miles by, just simply signing up. And I'm sure that you could probably find an offer out there that's better than that. Or if you chat with them, a lot of times you can get a better welcome offer if you apply and you have, pristine credit. But you can see here, there's a ton of options for people that like to travel, especially with Barclays. There's a lot of, store cards that are available here, different entertainment cards. They've got their everyday cash back cards, which a lot are like the same that we've already seen, but you'll get cash back from simply just using those cards. They also have personal loans as well. So if you are, I guess in their ecosystem, you could potentially receive an invitation. But Barclays is really just good for their credit cards. Their personal loans are an exclusive offer, so they're invite only. So if you do get an invitation, then you can go through with the application and see if you would pre-qualify. But like I said, Barclays is primarily best for their credit cards, and always try to negotiate your welcome offer with Barclays. You can a lot of times call them or use the chat feature on their website. They used to have, someone down here where you can chat with. It doesn't look like they have that, or it might just be when you log in, but you can certainly contact them, because right now you see that they always have different welcome offers, especially for this Aviator card, because it's probably one of the most popular cards that they have. But you can negotiate and see if you can get a better welcome offer. Looks like they also have a welcome offer for their savings account now. So a lot of times you can make money by simply just opening up bank accounts with a lot of these types of banks. Or if you just do a simple search and say, hey, what are the best welcome offers right now? You can make thousands of dollars every year on welcome offers by simply opening up a checking account or savings account and then just following through with the requirements. And if you do have direct deposit, as long as you set up a small percentage, then that would qualify, unless there's like a minimum that you would have to deposit. So just reading those qualifications, understanding, following through to ensure that you met those qualifications and that you have received your bonus, and then you can simply close the account if you really wanted to. Next up, we have LightStream. LightStream is a really popular play right now. According to a lot of people, I'm going to just tell you what they are doing, because of course you've watched the video this far, so of course you deserve some extra A1 game. Lightstream.com, my friends. Okay, this is how people are getting their clients funding right now. Lightstream is a personal loan company. They primarily just use Transunion. Okay, so the great thing is they provide loans for pretty much everything out there, right? Debt consolidation, medical. So again, if you are one of those people that needs a medical procedure or needs funding for medical something, don't get the Care credit card. Get a loan instead of a credit card, because the loan is not going to affect your credit card utilization versus, the loan is going to affect your debt to income, no doubt, right? But that's not included in your credit score calculation. All right. So it's a lot better for your credit profile to get a loan instead of a credit card. But what is going on here, and I'm just going to spill the beans like I always do, right? People are going to auto, right? And of course, this is inside of the credit community, and more plays just like this to help you leverage funds to build wealth. what they are doing is they're saying, hey, I'm going to buy a car from a private party. So I'm going to get a used auto loan and I'm going to get it from an individual. Okay. And they're putting in the loan amount. So if someone says, hey, I want $50,000 to buy this auto loan from this person, you have to think if you have comparable credit. Like if you've already had a loan in the past for $20,000, then yeah, you could ask for $50,000. But if you've never had a loan for even $20,000 or $25,000, if you ask for $50,000, there's a possibility you could get declined just because you don't have comparable credit, right? And sometimes you can go through the reconsideration process, which is really available for most banks, and say, hey, I just applied for something, I was declined. If it is for an auto, say, hey, if I reduced the amount for the auto, could I get approved? I've had a lot of clients that have done this with like credit unions and banks, and they were approved after the fact, especially for auto, because they just applied for too much, but they would qualify for like $35,000, right? So you can always start with a certain amount and you're going to hit see my rates. Okay. Now, this is basically how people are getting their clients the funding, because they're saying, I'm going to buy an auto from an individual, and you go through and find your rates. So if you wanted, say, 36 months, that's going to be a hefty payment every month, right? So of course, we always want to select the lowest payment obligation. So that way, if you did want to pay more, you can absolutely pay more towards that. But, some months you might not have, $1,500 to pay, right? So we're always going to select, 84 months, but of course, what comes with that is a much higher interest rate. And we're going to select apply. We're going to fill out the credit application. Okay, the numbers need to look good. What does that mean? Household income. All right, we want to use household income. So the application type is going to be an individual. It's going to be a used auto purchase from an individual. How I heard about you, you can just say, let's see, from Truist, or you could say Loan Finder website. Whatever. Put in your zip code, the loan amount that you wish. The payment is always going to be auto pay. Okay. And then you're going to hit continue. Oops, zip code. You'll start putting in all of your information. You're always going to want to put that you're full-time employed. If you are self-employed, you always want to put your business name as the employer, put in all your information in here. And, as far as the housing costs and all that stuff, you really just want to try to be as honest as possible, but you also have to be realistic. If you put down that your household income is $80,000, chances you're going to get denied, because they're not going to feel comfortable giving a $50,000 car if your household income is only $80,000. So if you got to be realistic, and hopefully your household income would be a little bit higher, like close to 180. Maybe if you and your spouse work, then they would feel more confident giving someone, a $30,000 to $50,000 auto loan. Now, again, this money is going to be ACH'd directly to your bank account, right? And then people are just not buying the auto with it. They're using those funds to invest in their business. Of course, you're going to have a hefty payment every month, but it is a creative way to get funding, and they're not requiring that you submit a VIN number or any other proof that you purchased a vehicle. They don't follow up on it. So it's kind of, like a hack. And, what I say is nothing good ever lasts forever. So get it while you can, because I'm sure once they finally figure out what people are doing, they're going to change things up, and they might require proof, and, who knows? But this is how a lot of people are getting funding and, using this personal loan to finance other things. At the end of the day, it's still a personal loan. You're going to be responsible for it either way. And I think that's one of the reasons why LightStream doesn't really care, because they're like, hey, this is a personal loan. Now we're going to give it to you at a better interest rate, because they're thinking that this loan is secured, but in reality, you never bought the equipment that goes along along with it. So I don't know what's to come for that, but I will say that it is a great creative way to get financing, especially if you are looking to purchase something for your business like equipment, or even looking for, just, some startup funds to help with your business. You can definitely use some of your own personal funds. Upgrade is another TransUnion financial, I guess you can say they're not really like they're just a financial platform, I guess you could say. That's what I'm going to call Upgrade, a financial platform. But they specialize in personal loans, debt consolidation, home improvement, again, they're a big personal loan company, but now they also offer credit cards. So they have a few different credit cards that you can check out. They also have checking account and savings account. Now, the reason why I like Upgrade is because they are kind of like a fintech company. So they're a lot easier for you to get approved for, especially if you have less than fair credit. And the one thing about Upgrade is if you take a loan out, you pay it off, they're always going to come back and want to give you more. So be careful with that. You don't want to get too much in debt with them, but they are a great way to, reconsolidate debt, pay off some debt, build up some credit, get some higher comparable credit lines with, and they are going to be using TransUnion. Care Credit, most Synchrony credit cards are going to pull from TransUnion. Synchrony, store credit cards, I'm not really a huge fan of them. That's kind of why they're like last on my list, but I get it. In some cases, they might be helpful to some people. I don't like store credit cards or Synchrony cards because oftentimes they're like a low limit, and a lot of times Synchrony cards, depending on who they're financing for, they could be a decent limit. Like with Care Credit, a lot of times it is a higher limit, but if you have a procedure that you need to finance, medical, or even like a vet bill that you need to finance, a lot of times you're putting a big balance on a brand new credit card. But in emergency situations, I get it, because sometimes people might have a vet bill that's a few $1,000s and they need to finance that on their Care credit card, or they want to apply for Care credit card. Well, you certainly can. There's no annual fee, and you can pre-qualify right there on their website. So if you're looking, if like you have, pets and you want like a Care credit to like hit the vets with, so that way that you're covered in that aspect. You don't always have to keep a balance on it, but with Care credit, it's kind of like one of those places, if you don't use it, you lose it. So you definitely want to keep activity on there every year and make a few payments towards them. But it's a great way to get that extra cushion in case of an emergency happening. And if you needed like dental work or anything like that, Care credit's good. They're going to use TransUnion, and you can usually get some pretty big limits. But if you did want to plan a procedure, I would recommend like getting a personal loan for it, especially if it's like health related. And these are some of the different platforms that offer, loans for, health reasons and things of that nature. So there's BHG Financial, and BHG is great for many ways, but they're not cheap. They're very expensive. Their rates are very expensive. So they can be a little bit easier to finance. They have a ton of different personal loan options. They also have business loan options. Their business loan options do not report to the personal credit. Oftentimes it's just a soft pull with them. So, these places are not necessarily TransUnion based, but they're alternatives in case you really did need some funding in a pinch. So there's BHG, there's LightStream, and again, like BHG doesn't want a perfect credit score, but they do like ask for tax returns if it's like a higher dollar amount, right? So that's one thing that I have noticed about them. They are going to ask for like pay stubs or tax returns, and they're not asking you for the tax returns. They're going to have you sign the form for them to go retrieve the tax returns from the IRS themselves. So there's no working around that. With LightStream, sometimes they might ask for check stubs. That should not be a problem. If you need help, reach out to me. I can definitely help you get approved. With PenFed, they're great for personal loans, but they are a credit union, so you would want to join as a member. In fact, if you join the ACC, that can get you into PenFed. PenFed is very easy to join anyways, but you can definitely get in, and they have many loans and personal loan options that they use. Now, with their personal loan options, they use Experian. Generally, PenFed is an Equifax bank, and they use Equifax for their credit cards, but they use Experian a lot of times for their personal loans. So, and they actually leverage their personal loan platform on like a lot of other websites. So it's kind of crazy just to see PenFed out there like that. But they are, exceptional personal loans, better rates if you could go directly through PenFed, of course. PenFed also has good auto loans, and they're on our Equifax video that I did, and I'll leave the link below. SoFi, I just helped get a client $100,000 with SoFi. They did a soft pull. There was never a hard pull on there. There was pay stubs required. So we were able to verify that. No problem there. And of course, a lot of these places, you don't have to have perfect credit. Higher credit score is obviously going to help, but you can get approved with a lower credit score because a lot of these places are kind of more of like on that fintech side of things. Upgrade and then Upstart. So those are some alternatives, but that is going to be for the most part, the better options for you guys to acquire funding using your TransUnion. Make sure to watch all 3 episodes of that series because there is some great information in there. And again, if you want to learn more about this type of stuff, credit repair, business credit funding, join the credit community, or you can book a call with me one-on-one. And I do have a few slots available for one-on-one mentorship, but I'm sure I will sell out fast because every year I open up a few slots and usually by March I'm sold out. So make sure to book a call if you want to learn more, or you can join the credit community. But I want to thank you for watching. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and I will see you next time. Until then, make sure to watch the video coming up next.